Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You may also find us on television channel 182 on Charter Communications and Abundance Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Thank you so much for watching. Phil and I just came back from vacation and went to San Antonio, Texas, and I fell in love with San Antonio. It was absolutely beautiful, and I really enjoyed going to the Riverwalk. We went there in the daytime hours as well as at night, and so I'll have another video for you coming up pretty soon, and that's the nighttime version of the Riverwalk. But I want to show you a video, and this pertains to the daytime version of the Riverwalk, and then we're going to come back and I'll have a little bit of history for you. So just take a quick look, and I think you'll enjoy. Okay, so we are in San Antonio, Texas. We're at the Riverwalk, and this is just an absolute, this is a beautiful place. I love this. I don't know, it's just beautiful. And we're going to take one of those tours right there in just a few minutes, but we're going to go ahead and record a couple shows while we're here. And we'll be going ahead and kind of view around this way as well. This is where we came down. And so you can see the bridge, and everything is just, it's beautiful here. There's Margaritaville, by the way. And so then the river, again, that way. And there's Phil, he's walking off with him. He want me to put him on the video. And just the beautiful carvings, the beautiful lights. I just think it's all beautiful. And there's quite the history. We were at the Alamo, which was a fun time as well. But again, thank you so much, and we have a few videos coming up after this. Oh, it's fun to watch these folks as they're having such a good time on the boat. We'll have another video shortly. These folks are having a lot of fun. Okay, we'll be back shortly. So we're back, and it was just such a fun time. I could live there. And also the locals were so friendly. I mean, just so, it's like they'd always known us. And so several of them said, "Oh, you must be out of town." And so we said, "Yeah, we are. We're just having a good time here. Wanted to, film a few segments out here as well." And so they were all telling me how lucky we were to come when we did come, because the previous week was so hot. Now, the temperature was very comfortable to me, but I'm really cold-natured. Phil was a little bit hot, but anyway, it was still a lot of fun. But I heard on the nighttime, we went on ahead and took the little, it's like a little cruise going through there. And by the way, what you just saw is nothing compared to what the real thing is. So I'm looking forward to you looking at the nighttime version as well. But there's a lot of history to the Riverwalk that I didn't know. I mean, I always heard of the Riverwalk. But let's talk about that just a little bit. So I found this good website, and you can also find it on Wiki and other areas as well. There's also a website, sanantonioriverwalk.com. You can find it there, but it's tshaonline.com. So I'm just going to kind of take you through some of this right here. Beautiful, colorful restaurants. You'll see dances being performed. There's music all over the place. So the video that you'll see later on with the nighttime version is going to be kind of hard to hear because of all the attractions and all the things that are happening. And you're trying to listen to the guy who was actually taking us on tour as well. But the San Antonio Riverwalk is a linear park, and it winds for 13 miles. This is from Breckenridge Park through downtown San Antonio and south to the farthest of the city's 5 18th century Spanish missions. So much history. The central section of the approximately 3.5 miles is navigable by tourist barges that stop along riverside walkways near hotels, restaurants, and shops concentrated around the Great Bend or Horseshoe Bend. Now, Phil and I we went several different ways. There's just, I don't know, numerous ways you can get on the Riverwalk. And so, man, I want to go to a thrift store. So I went to a thrift store and and looked to see what I could find to repurpose. You're going to see some of the footage on that as well a little bit later on in another show. And you can just walk just a few blocks and you would see to the Riverwalk, to the Riverwalk. So if you want to go and take it slow pace, you can do that. If you want to go on a bus tour, you can do that as well, the hop on, hop off. We just decided to go at it on our own. And but there are all kinds of, you can listen to a possible timeshare thing, which I don't recommend you do. I don't want you to get sucked into something. We chose not to do that, but we just wanted to go at it on our own because we were doing some film anyway, in different parts of San Antonio. But the central section, again, is about 3.5 miles. And you can shop and eat, do whatever you want to all over the place. Navigation northward beyond the original Riverwalk was made possible by 2009. This is in 2009 by construction of the only Riverwalk in the state of Texas. Now, access to the remainder of the Riverwalk is along hiking and biking trails. I mean, they're just very biker friendly out there. The Riverwalk draws several million, I can see it, tourists a year. It's ranked one of the top travel destinations in Texas and has inspired riverside developments throughout the world. The Riverwalk has its origins at the end of the 19th century when the narrow San Antonio River was replaced as the source of the city's water by a municipal system fed by artesian wells. Now, the wells began lowering the water table periodically, caused the river some 20 feet below downtown street level to go dry. The proposals for the new use of the river's tree-lined course as a park gained momentum. This is in 1904 when irate citizens went before the city commissioner to protest overzealous clearing of overgrowth along the river. New civic use followed. So the annual Spring Festival's king had traditionally made this ceremonious entry at a railroad station, but in April 1905, the king arrived by boat as part of the first river parade. Now, the second such parade was held 2 years later as part of the Riverside Carnival, and that's of Venice. Kind of made me think of Venice. It was just beautiful. It had to be delayed when a temporary dam to raise the water to level adequate for boats washed out in a storm. There were no more river parades. They were not held for nearly 3 decades. Now, in 1911, a group of businessmen commissioned an engineering study that reported the dwindling flow could safely be carried through a proposed underground conduit beneath downtown. That would permit the surface riverbed to be filled in for development. Now, opposing businessmen formed the San Antonio River Improvement Association. After added opposition from the City Federation of Women's Clubs, city commissioners took no action on the proposal. So, election in 1912 as the reformed mayor, Augustus H. Jones, led to a mile-long landscaping of downtown riverbanks as River Park. So that was the original plan. One of the several municipal improvements inspired by the National City Beautiful Improvement. It was dedicated in November 1914 and praised by the park in observing a 1919 that, I'll quote, the average city council would have built an intercepting sewer, the stream would have disappeared from view, and the city would have become a commonplace as any other good, hustling, enterprising town. Now, in about 1920, the Coffee House, this is in a riverside basement below the Houston Street Bridge, became the first business to open along what became the Riverwalk. And that building is still standing there. Now, even before its completion, the river park was submerged by 2 floods that spilled onto the streets above. Now, in October and December of 1913, this continued flooding led the city in 1920 to hire the Boston engineering firm Metcalf and Eddy to come up with a permanent solution. Its recommendations were adopted by San Antonio City Commissioners that December. One recommendation called for building a dam 2 miles upstream to hold back flood runoff from the Alamos Creek watershed. This is the most serious cause of flooding downstream. Now, straightening 6 bends to speed passage of floodwaters was also approved. This is going to mean something in a few minutes. Not to be straightened was the seventh bend, which is the largest. It's a horseshoe-shaped bend. The video that you see, it was kind of like this horseshoe. That's where it began. And that was the rest of the riverbed, and they were deepened and lined with steep masonry walls. The banks would be cleared of all trees and shrubs which would impede the flood waters. The impact of that move did not register on citizens for another 3 months. When the Fiesta de San Jacinto Association made its customary application to a city permit to decorate trees beside the river for the next spring fiesta. This time, since there would soon be no more trees, the permit was denied. Now, a wave of protest arose from men and women in all walks of life. Now, the officials were about to face outraged citizens, you don't want to do that, who had gathered at the women's club, hastily decided the trees would remain. I'm so glad they did, because when you see the video a little bit later, the nighttime version of the Riverwalk, and I'm going to tell you, the video doesn't do it justice. There were beautiful string lights all over the place. It was just absolutely magnificent. Now, a few months later, got to make sure I keep up with the time, came the greatest disaster San Antonio has faced in modern times. I think this is time to go into a break. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors, and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer.
Yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
The only place I buy my beef is Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama. Their cattle is born and raised on their ranch, grass and grain fed, and you can feel confident when you serve your family and friends because their beef is all natural and no antibiotics or hormones are added. You can buy whole beef or perhaps go in with family or friends and buy half. Their customer service is number one as they take care of the delivery to their local processor and can deliver to your home for a small added fee. They also offer herd replacement heifers. I always call Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama for my beef specialty recipes and cookouts, and you can too. Food shortages are increasing, so buy local by calling 256-523-6462. That's 256-523-6462.
Wow, it's so soft and smooth.
It's cool to the touch. How did you do that?
Well, we took MyPillow's patented fill and combined it with this new technology that we didn't have back then when I invented MyPillow to bring you the best pillow in history, MyPillow 2.0. Because of all of you, MyPillow 2.0 has been a huge success, and now we're bringing you our best-selling Go Anywhere MyPillows with the same temperature-regulating technology. Made with my patented adjustable fill and brand new cooling fabric, they're truly the next generation of MyPillow. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save over 60% on our MyPillow 2.0 4-pack special. You'll get 2 MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows Regular $259.92, now only $99.98. King size just $10 more. This is a limited time offer, so please order now.
Donna's Designs offers a line of handmade memorial, wedding, and keepsake jewelry that launched back in 1970. I'm a self-trained jewelry designer, and I will work closely with you to create unique designs you can love and treasure for years to come. Whether that be flowers that were used in a funeral arrangement or stones you found on the beach at a memorable trip, call me at 256-659-4319, and let's think of the possibilities.
At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Okay, we're back. My name is Donna, and I am your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, as well as Abundance Television, syndicated there, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. I want you to look at this video just one more time, and you're going to see what I'm talking about, the horseshoe part where the whole thing begins. Okay, we'll be right back. Okay, so we are in San Antonio, Texas. We're at the Riverwalk, and this is just an absolute, this is a beautiful place. I love this. I don't know, it's just beautiful. And we're going to take one of those tours right there in just a few minutes, but we're going to go ahead and record a couple shows while we're here. And we're going ahead and kind of view around this way as well. This is where we came down. And so you can see the bridge, and everything is just, it's beautiful here. There's Margaritaville, by the way. And so then the river, again, that way. And there's Phil, he's walking off with you want me to put him on the video. And just the beautiful carvings, the beautiful lights. I just think it's all beautiful. And there's quite the history. We were at the Alamo, which was a fun time as well. But again, thank you so much, and we have a few videos coming up after this. Oh, it's fun to watch these folks as they're having such a good time on the boat. We'll have another video shortly. These folks are having a lot of fun. Okay, we'll be back shortly. Okay, so you can see what I was talking about when you went to that horseshoe bend. Again, that's where it all began. I encourage you, if you go, it doesn't cost a lot of money to go in the boat, okay? And you'll get a good tour guide. And again, that's going to be a little bit noisy, especially if you go at night, because all the festivals are going, and you know, everybody's singing and everybody's dancing and all this kind of stuff's going on. But let's talk about the greatest disaster San Antonio had faced in modern times. Okay, this was a few months later, okay? So a 23-hour downpour struck at 6 p.m. on September the 9th. This is 1921. 1,000 acres of the city were flooded. A 3/4 square mile area of downtown was covered by 2 to 12 feet of water. Despite at least 500 rescues, many by soldiers mobilized from nearby United States Army posts, more than 50 persons drowned, many of them in poor neighborhoods along the San Pedro and Alazan Creeks with their tributes. It took nearly 3 more years for flood prevention plans to be finalized, and this was big money back in this day, okay? And $2.8 million in municipal bonds to be approved so that work could start. The city hired Samuel F., I hope I'm not tearing up this name, Creselius, retired from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, to supervise the overall project. Okay, now the Almost Dam was finished in 1926, so it took 5 years. Downtown floodwaters would be diverted into a straight path to avoid the politically sensitive Great Bend, also known as Horseshoe Bend. Floodgates at both ends of the Great Bend would seal it from the flood waters. Let's see, the bypass channel was completed in 1930, so it took a long time to develop. Protection of the Great Bend from high waters gave it unique potential for safe development close to the river level. The young San Antonio-born architect Robert H. Hugman, whose time in New Orleans had given him respect for that city's awareness of its French heritage, believed the San Antonio River's Great Bend could draw inspiration from San Antonio's Spanish heritage. Glad they did it. I'm glad he had that insight. Hugman came up with an imaginary cross between Spain and Venice, a fanciful environment he conceived of the shops of Aragon and Romula. Now, his shops of Aragon would line a cobblestone lane descending from Houston Street to the river at the western end of the Great Bend. A bridge would cross into the bend. There, Romula, also accessed by stairways from the streets, would be lined with zones of shops, restaurants, and park-like areas. I mean, it's like everywhere you went, somebody was having a picnic. I mean, there's like picnics everywhere, all over the parks. Let's see, narrow pedestrian bridges would arch the stream. Hugman envisioned gondolas poled down the river on a balmy night, fanned by a gentle breeze carrying the delightful aroma of honeysuckle and sweet olive, with old-fashioned street lamps casting fantastic shadows on the surface of the water, strains of music in the air. Now, in 1929, Robert Hugman took his plan to the San Antonio Conservation Society, an organization that was founded in 1924 in an unsuccessful effort to save the city's unique market house, and then concentrated on saving the Spanish San Jose mission south of town. Now, the society's president sent him to San Antonio Mayor C.M. Chambers. The mayor quickly endorsed Hugman's proposal as part of his overall cut-rate plan to counter the more costly city master plan proposed by Harlan Bartholomew of St. Louis, one of the nation's leading city planners. Bartholomew favored keeping the river park as a natural area with none of Hugman's disruptions. Hugman failed to gain support from the San Antonio Conservation Society, a strong backer of Bartholomew. Now, society support was pivotal in the approval in the 1933 Bartholomew's master plan, the city's first. Robert Hugman, left to advocate his idea on his own, finally found a supporter from hotel owner Jack White. White had noted the success of the 1936 Texas Centennial River Parade, sponsored by the local chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution, and saw potential for developing a new business at his Swank Plaza Hotel at the south end of the Great Bend. He spearheaded the organization of a local taxing district to help finance Hugman's project. Now, he gained both city assistance and additional federal funding from the Works Progress Administration with the aid of Congressman and later Mayor Murray Maverick. Ground was broken in 1939. Now, the channel walls of the old river park had been concrete between the river's banks. Hugman replaced them with walls of limestone blocks. Gorgeous. And they also were the replica of a natural stream, and they were also lined. They were curved as well, so it was just beautiful. But leaders of the Conservation Society, still loyal to the river park, were dismayed at the lavish amount of fanciful stonework Hugman insisted upon adding to the once sedate park for sidewalks, retaining walls, and bridges. They were instrumental in getting Hugman fired halfway through the project, though the key elements of his plan were already in place. Hugman was replaced by J. Fred Boyce. This is a landscape architect who tempered the use of additional stonework. I'm going to have to hurry up and get with it. I've got so many things I want to talk to you about. Now, The newly completed Riverwalk was dedicated in April of 1941, with the first of the annual Fiesta River Parade still sponsored by San Antonio's Texas Cavaliers. But the nation was turning its attention toward World War II. Remember, that was up. So after the war, the Riverwalk remained little more than a narrow landscaped canyon between the unsightly backs of buildings facing streets above. So the cessation of the river-lined restaurants near the Houston, some people call it Houston, by the way, Houston or Houston Street Bridge, was joined in 1946 by Caserio at the Market Street Bridge over the Great Bend, but no other commercial development soon occurred. The Riverwalk was seldom visited, became sufficiently unsafe to be declared off limits for the city's military personnel. In 1952, a group of businesses also disregarded the integrity of Hugman's concept that an automobile bridge crossing the river to a parking garage was proposed at a level only slightly higher than one of Hugman's quaint arching bridges as a stone's throw away. So let's go on. I've got to hurry up. There's a couple more things I wanted to talk to you about. Now, in the decades since 1968, hotels, restaurants, and shops have multiplied, and I'm telling you, greatly multiplied along the Riverwalk, guided by a variety of agencies monitoring aspects from building setbacks to lighting to plantings to noise levels. So the Riverwalk was first adorned in Christmas lights in 1975. Wow, it's just 2 years before I graduated from high school. Now, at that time, the President William W. McCormick and other civic leaders were concerned with a decrease in downtown commerce. Working with a group, Downtown Incorporated, McCormick suggested stringing Christmas lights in the trees along the San Antonio Riverwalk, in addition to normally decorated buildings. That first year, they supplied the lights and the city maintenance workers provided the labor. Now, the project has grown to a major event and draws thousands of tourists to the Riverwalk during the Christmas season every year. And again, the locals were telling Phil and me, you got to come back at Christmas. You're going to really have a blast at Christmas. The Riverwalk extension was itself extended in 1988 to form a lagoon around the glass-fronted River Center Mall, which had more than 100 retail outlets on 3 levels. So in 2001, yet another extension of the extension offered an access deep into the newly enlarged convention center complex. An 11-year project for a 3-mile flood control tunnel beneath all of downtown was completed by 1998. Now, months before a storm that would earlier cause major flooding outside the protected Great Bend, the improved flood control facilitated extension of the Riverwalk, a goal of Mayor Phil Hardberger, far beyond Hugman's original project. So in 2009, on Hardberger's last day in office, the outgoing mayor, riding on a barge, opened the newly landscaped riverbanks through a lock and cruised northward along a once 2-mile section through decaying neighborhoods, soon to undergo major Riverwalk inspiration gentrification. Man, I'm going to tell you what, they did a lot of work. And it is a sight to behold. I'm just telling you, you got to go check it out. You can Google any of the Riverwalk and you'll be able to find all kinds of great information about it. You can go to youtube.com, and then I'm going to have a segment about the night version of the Riverwalk as well. Thank you so much for watching The Edge. My name is Donna. I am your host. You can find us on television, channel 182, Charter Communications, and Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for watching.